Order of operations is a math topic from here on out. So I know a lot of you have already seen order of operations, but it never hurts to practice some more. So when we look at this first question here, it says solve 3 plus 4 times 2. And no matter what class I'm teaching, whether it's a GED math class or a college algebra class, students solve it two different ways. I get an answer of 14. Some students say the answer is 14 to this question, and others say the answer is 11. So I want you to think about it and determine which one you think is right or how you would solve it if you were to go ahead and solve it. So students that get 14 are just going left to right. They're doing 3 plus 4 is 7 times 2 is 14. Students that are getting 11 are doing 4 times 2 is 8, and then adding 3 to that for 11. So which way is right? Right? So way back when mathematicians had to decide on a convention, it's called. They had to decide on an order in which everyone's going to solve an expression like this. So there's no possibility of getting more than one answer because there's really only one correct answer. So again, a lot of you guys have heard of order of operations. A lot of you guys probably refer to them as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which is absolutely fine. I tend to put the rules into these 4 areas, where the first rule is you're going to perform calculations inside the parentheses, and this includes absolute value. So just a review on absolute value are these straight lines. Like this is the absolute value of 5, which is 5, okay, or the absolute value of -5, which is also 5. So absolute value really just means the distance to 0. So it'll always be positive if there's no symbol on the outside of the brackets. Whatever's on the inside will just be the positive value of that number. Rule 2, it says perform all exponents and roots. So exponents, just a review quickly here. If I have 2 to the 3rd, that really means 2 times 2 times 2, right? Which is 8, right? Does not mean 2 times 3. It means 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 times itself 3 times for 8. And roots, if you remember this symbol, that's a square root symbol. So if I have the square root of 16, you ask yourself what times what equals 16. That's the same number, and that would be 4. So that's the second step we have to do. If they're present in an expression, that's the next thing you have to solve. Rule 3 is perform all multiplication and division from left to right. So this is where students make error when they use please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So if we look at please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it like this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P being parentheses, remember the absolute value. E being exponents. So there's automatically something wrong with this learning tool because we forget about roots, right, or the square root of something. And then we have multiply, divide, and then the next one is add and subtract. But think about how this could be problematic, right? Think of how or why this could be a problem. This is showing this pattern, right? You do parentheses, then exponents, then multiply, then divide, and so on. Where if we look at the rules I typed up here, we have to perform all multiplication and division left to right. So right here, multiply and divide, you have to view that like they have the same power. So it doesn't matter which comes first, you have to do left to right. So if I had this, 15 divided by 3 times 2, a lot of students want to do 3 times 2 because they think multiply is before divide. And that's not the case. Because multiply and divide are both present, we go left to right. So we do 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times 2 gives us 10. Okay, so just be careful for that. Same for addition and subtraction. So if both are present, you have to go left to right. So if I have 10 minus 6 plus 2, I have to go left to right here. I don't add and then take that from 10. I go left to right. So 10 minus 6 is 4, plus 2 gives me 6. So just a little watch out area there. Let's look through a couple problems together. We'll do these first 6 together, and then I'll create another video for the remainder questions. So here we have 6, maybe up here, we can put a little cheat in the right-hand corner here of our order. So we have please excuse, or parentheses, exponents, and then you could do this, my dear Aunt Sally, just so you remember that those are the same rule, right? So here we have addition, multiplication, and parentheses involved. So we would solve using the parentheses first. So 6 plus 7 is 13. I'm going to keep that in parentheses. So now here, when a number is touching a parenthesis, that means time. So this is the same thing as 3 times 13. 3 times 13 is 39. It would be really good calculator practice to enter your original in the calculator. Just enter it just like you see it. There's parenthesis keys on there if you have one. Even on your phone should be smart enough to do the order of operations on its own. Number 2, we have all multiply. So the order does not matter how we choose to multiply. You can go left to right. You can do 3 times 2 and then times that by 5. Or you can do 5 times 2 and then times that by 3. And the commutative property allows us to do that. Technically, the commutative property of multiplication and the associative property of multiplication. But I'll just go left to right here. We have 5 times 3 is 15. And then 15 times 2 is 30. Next, we have division and addition. So if we look over here, we have divide comes before add, right? So 72 divided by 9 is 8. And then 8 plus 7 is 15. Oops. Oops. There we go. Number 4, 2 plus 7 times 5. So we have addition and multiplication. So we have these two. So we have to multiply before we add. So 35 plus 2 gives us 37. Next, we have addition and subtraction. So remember, with addition and subtraction, it's just left to right. So 9 plus 8 is 17. Minus 7 gives us 10. Number 6, we have 9 minus 32 divided by 4. So 32 divided by 4 gives us 8. And then 9 minus 8 gives us 1. So I'm going to create a video doing some more sample problems, but I would encourage you when the next video comes up and you see all the blank questions to just pause the video and try some on your own before you just watch the video. Being good with order of operations is really important. It's a big math topic, like I said, from right now all the way up if you want to continue your math journey in college. And yeah, I'm sure you guys have even seen some memes scrolling Facebook, or sometimes in like Instagram, there's little math things that pop up where people banter back and forth about what's right and what's wrong. But if you really know the answer, right, or if you really know how to use the order of operations, you can comment and say you know the answer. So check out the next video.